welcome to REI Live. This is our May virtual meeting. Make sure that you find us on social media. We've got REI Live on Facebook, and we have our website up, which is just reilivesrq.com. We are also on YouTube now. All of our video recordings that we do of these meetings, Miss Catherine is uploading those every time that we have a new video for you. So just make sure that you subscribe and that you turn on the bell so you get notified whenever we have a new video pop up. Okay, just making sure good here. Okay, so what is REI Live? REI Live is the newest, most modern way for entrepreneurs to network and collaborate. We've launched in 5 different cities. We're originated in Birmingham, Alabama. Sorry about that, guys. We originated in Birmingham, Alabama. We are Columbia, South Carolina, Sarasota, Atlanta, and Orlando now. And each month we bring in a keynote speaker. And normally when we meet in person for the first hour, we will network, but right now we're doing all of that virtually still. All right, make sure to find us on Facebook, like I said. So it's facebook.com/investorquarters. So right now our next class is going to be on Wednesday, June 3rd at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And it's about what is happening in the Sarasota and Manatee real estate market for the local realtor. Our upcoming REI Live dates, we've got June 25th.
Is everybody seeing the slide?
Britt, they're not clicking through the
slides aren't going.
So
my stuff is just spinning and it's not connecting properly, so I'm not sure. Do you want me to try and log out and log back in?
Give me 1 second, Brittany. I've got them up, and then you can talk over them.
Okay.
Can everybody see now?
There we go. There's the next one. I see that.
Okay. Britt, can you see everything?
Yep, I can.
Okay, perfect.
So I was up to our date.
Okay, here we go.
Thank you, dear. So right now, June 25th is going to be our next one. We will probably have it virtual still, but we will just have to see what's going on in the world. But make sure you write down all of these dates. They're always on a Thursday at 6:30, and just make sure to have those. These are actually our email addresses, our cell phone numbers, our Instagram handles, all of that good stuff. So make sure that you find us on Facebook. Make sure you find us on Instagram. We always have new news happening on those type of platforms. Those are our real cell phone numbers. So if you have any questions, you can contact any of us. It's got Paul, myself, Mark, and Catherine. We're the 4 major main pioneers of this whole operation.
Oh, sorry, guys.
All right, LeadX. So LeadX is a company that we created. It has discounted lead lists. We've got website discounts, CRM discounts. We have alternatives for the MLS if you don't have MLS access, and skip tracing tools, and then discounts on mail as well. Just make sure that you reach out to Catherine or myself, and we'll get you connected with that company. And guys, we actually have 2 pages of sponsors now. It's super exciting. We've got Best Buy and Relax Realty, Lending One, Van Gates, all that good stuff. And a whole second page there on Carrot, all that good stuff. And then I'm actually going to kick it over to Mark. Mark, if you want to introduce Mr. Randy for us, I believe.
Yeah, next month, Randy Lawrence is going to join us, just like Dan's with us tonight. Dan's Prosperity Capital Partners. He's flipping lots of houses in the Tampa and other areas, and help people with syndications and things like that build apartment deals around the country. So he's going to be with us next month. Please make sure you tune into everything that we're doing to find out upcoming events coming down the road. And tonight, before I introduce Dan, I want to thank everybody, Catherine especially, and everybody who's even made this possible. This is month number 2 that we've actually had I'd like to say real live, but this isn't real live. This is virtually live, and And I got to tell you, it's a little bit challenging. And those of you who know me or don't know me, technology scares the Jesus out of me, which is why I'm still AOL. And I don't feel like I'm in control at all. And it makes me so uncomfortable. And how I can relate to this, we got a special guest tonight. I'm so grateful that Dan agreed to come on board. His experience, and he's been around this industry almost as long as me. And I think he might look a little bit younger. I'm not really sure, but he's done all kinds of things, from note investing to apartments to flipping to speaking on stages across the country. But tonight, what he's going to do, he's going to give you guys a piece of the puzzle that's needed and necessary in this marketplace today. And there's so much money out there in the streets. And how do we get it to add value to our business and help our business take steps forward? And I want to tell you a story quickly, a couple stories, because the beginning of my real estate career, I didn't have any money. Both times, when I was 21 and I was 41. And it was instrumental, just as we're teaching you guys how to find real estate and find properties. The most important thing you also need, or the second most or equally, is the money. Because let me tell you something, when you're in talking to a seller or trying to make a deal and you have the confidence that you can get the money, your conviction and what you protrude to that seller who you want to bring on your team will come through. If you don't have the money, you can't look anybody in the eye and tell them that you can do the deal. Now, banks, we all know, are hard. These are really trying times in the economy right now. Banks are changing their games every day, but there's money in the streets waiting for you guys to tap into it. And from what I have heard and experienced, this man that's coming on tonight is a master at that. I think the title of tonight is How to Raise $1 Million in 90 Days. And what do you think your business would look like if you could go out tomorrow knowing you had the money to buy whatever deal that you came across that you're confident that you can do? Both of these things were critical in my evolution of my business. When I was 41 years old, I found that first guy who believed in me or had the money and the security, and he became my guy. And I went through at least 100 houses with him as my partner. 20 years later, we're just selling off the last pieces that we did together. So Dan, with no further ado, thank you for coming out tonight. You guys stay tuned and pay attention, because when you got the money, then the doors start to open up for you, and he's going to give you some creative ways to go get the money right now. So let's give a round of applause for Dan.
Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing this and presenting to your group. It's same with me. It's fun doing this virtually, as I do get to speak not only nationwide, but I've been asked to speak internationally now as well. So, and I truly love that. I love the face-to-face being in person, but we're making it work. But I do have some slides here, so I guess you guys got to give me probably control to get to my slides for your group, right?
Pass you the presenter role, so that should allow you to share your screen.
All right, great.
Let's see here. I turned mine off. There we go.
Oh, here we go. Great. Okay, guys, you can see my screen now, correct?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Yeah. Well, once again, thank you all for having me on. I appreciate you being here, and I honor you for taking the time out of your day. You know, I know I'm here teaching you, but I give you a lot of credit for taking the time out of your day to come and learn. And this is going to be action-packed. There's no sales here. I'm not selling you anything. Even though I am a coach, I am a speaker. We do sell stuff. I'm not here to sell you anything. I just think at this time, it's so important to learn how to raise private money, because, and I'll tell you a little bit about what happened to me over the course of my presentation. But like Mark said, if you learn how to raise private money, you control your business for long, not just now, you'll control forever. So once again, my name is Dan Zitofsky, and talk a little bit about who I am, and just let me know if you see my slide. Did you see my slide change? I just want to make sure we're on the great. It looks like you did. So excellent. So I've been involved in real estate not as long as Mark probably. I am younger, I hope. I've been involved since 1990, and I have closed over $600 million and over 2,000. Now it's actually close to 3,000 real estate and mortgage transactions. I don't just do real estate deals. I buy a lot of non-performing notes from the banks, and the only way I could do that is with private money. I'm going to show you an example of one or two of those later. I have been awarded top educator by the National REI on how to raise $1 million more in 90 days or less. And I've personally raised over $30 million in new money and over $200 million of velocity and used that money. So real quick, I don't know if you have a chat box there, but I would love to hear, people saying what they could do with $30 million in new money. And I'm going to let you know this real quick. I only did that with 42 investors. So I say that not to pat myself on the back, because it's definitely not patting myself on the back, because there's people with a lot more private money investors than 42, but I like to use the same money over and over again. And I treat them like a family. And I know it's 42 because we send out invitations every year to a holiday party. I have been published in multiple publications, a podcast, and one of the best things I've ever done, I could say to claim my claim to fame, is I am a husband to an amazing wife for 28 years and 3 awesome children. So that's my claim to fame right there. Okay. I have spoken at some major conferences, some major banks. I've spoken in front of Washington, D.C., Dodd-Frank and stuff like that, consortium. I'm also just recently published bestseller in a book called Passive to Prosperous, and the title is exactly what it means. It's living the prosperous life with passive income. The only way you could truly earn passive income, in my eyes, is with private money or seller financing. Hard money and banks just aren't going to do that for you up front, so that's why this is so important for you. Okay, and passive wealth, what does that do? For me, I haven't raised in private money. It allows me to create passive wealth as seller financing, becoming the bank, and allows me to do what I want with whom I want, anytime I want. And you can see here is my life. My family took a 2-week trip to Aruba, 14 days, 5 stars all the way, and just enjoyed it. Didn't have to work a job, didn't have to worry about anything. Okay, so what I'm going to cover today is some important things I want to cover with you guys, because and this is what I teach. Actually, what I teach in my classes, I do a weekend event and I do online training. This is actually what I teach in my classes. I cover the elevator pitch. Okay, that's very important. When people ask you, what do? You have to have your elevator pitch down. So you need to work on that. And I'm going to give you something here. I'm going to go through this. And I'm going to give you something, because I'll give you my elevator pitch. And if you want to write it down and just change it to make it your own, you'll be 10 steps ahead of everybody else you talk to right now. Because if you ask anyone right now what they do, in this group, I can almost guarantee you not anyone's going to have a good elevator pitch. And I can tell you that because I've asked thousands and thousands and thousands of people. So all the time I speak, what do? I go up around the room with a microphone, and I would do this if I was in the room with you, and I have fun. I have a good time with it. I don't do it to embarrass you. I do it to show you how important it is, and I ask what your elevator pitch is. So start thinking right now what your elevator pitch is, because I'm going to come back and tell you mine. I'm going to show you a little bit about your bio, what you need to do in your bio, your business plan. You need to have a bio and a business plan when you work with a private investor. You need to not just throw crap against the wall and say, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, I have a $100,000 deal. Do you want to fund it? And you don't have a bio. You don't have any business plan. Nobody knows what you do. We want to know what kind of deals you do, what you're using the money for. Is it fix and flips? Is it rentals? Is it notes? I have people I work with. I mentor how to raise money for businesses. I have one of my students raises money to buy Amazon stores. Another one raises money to buy watch collections, old Rolex watch collections, and sells them. So I have another one that infuses businesses with money and takes equity. So you see how private money is so important no matter what you do. If you learn how to do this and put together a package, you could do very well. And what's the most important thing that you could do with private money is how you can protect your investors and lenders. Most people don't even care how much money they're going to make on their money. The first thing they want to know about is how you're going to protect them. So what legal docs are you going to give them? And I'm going to talk about the legal docs here. So you're going to have that. Hi, guys. I hope you have a pen and pad ready to go. Write some of this stuff down, because you can get off this call when you're done and start really putting this together. I don't leave anything out. Like I said, I'm not here to sell you anything. I'm here to just give you pure content. Okay. Also, how they can fund your deals. You want to educate them. You want to learn and become a content king. Educate them on self-directed IRAs, solo 401ks. What is a cover note? What's a health savings account? How they can invest with cash, equity. Now there's new infinite banking, life insurance policies. How you can pay your kids under 18 years old tax-free if you have a business, and they can invest that money into a real estate deal. How kids can pay for their own college. How you can help your spouse retire early. Okay, think about all the content you can put out there and become the expert and help people fund your deals. Okay, and then we're going to talk about how much you generally pay back your investors. Okay, how do you fund? Biggest thing is, how do you fund the potential lenders and investors? People say, I have all this put together. How do I find them? We teach you how to find those investors too. Okay. And then what do you do once you find the potential lenders? Well, I always talk about my investor presentation meetings. Okay. So we're going to go over that. I can't spend as much time on every one of these as I would like because we're limited on time, but I'm going to run through these a little quicker, but at least you have an idea here on what to do. Okay. Oh, before we do that, let me go back and just give you one more. I talked about my elevator pitch. My elevator pitch right now is my name is Dan Zitofsky. I raise capital to buy distressed debt from the banks, paying better than average returns to my investors using their 401ks and self-directed IRAs. And I shut up. Okay. So if you're a fix and flipper, my name is Dan Zitofsky. I raise capital to buy distressed properties that you might see on HGTV. I'm the one who fixes them up and sells them at the end, and I provide better than average returns to my investors. And I shut up. I don't spew at the mouth. My elevator pitch is literally about 7 seconds, and that's it. So you want to practice that. If you have that, you want to write it down and make it work for you, practice in the mirror. But the first thing you want to say is I raise capital. Don't say I'm a real estate investor. That bores people. It's a high risk. They don't care about that. Don't say I'm an engineer. Don't say I'm a doctor. Don't say I'm getting involved in real estate. I'm a real estate agent. You raise capital. You raise capital. Make sure you say that. I can't stress that enough. Because everywhere I go, not one person says they raise capital. They don't even know what they do. Okay? So that's your little golden nugget for today. And here it is. We raise money to acquire non-performing assets, turning them to exactly what I said. Okay? And then after they ask more questions, then you can explain it further. Let me show you a little bit what a bio might look like to you guys. My bio is about 9 pages, but in your bio, you want to put who you are, what you do, what your criteria is. That picture you see in there, my humble beginnings, that's the first deal I ever did back almost 30 years ago. And it gives me something to talk about. I know most investors aren't going to read it, but at least I have a bio. They know what I do. They know what my plan is. They know where I invest. They know who's on my team. They know my mission statement. They know everything about me. Okay. So you want to include what you need the money for. Okay. Use the breakdown of your deals. Make sure you include all the cost. For instance, you'll have HGTV say the house is $100,000 and you put $50,000 into it and you sold it for $200,000, so you made $50,000. And we all know that's not true. That's sexy, but it's not true. Okay, so make sure you include all the costs. It's going to show that you really know what you're talking about, and it's going to show that you really did your due diligence. You want to talk about your purchase, your rehab, your carrying cost, the cost of money, your soft cost. Okay, for rentals, show everything, including vacancy and maintenance and reserves. This is where everybody gets hurt. This is where back in 2006, 7, 8, everyone got hurt, and it'll show that you covered it and you show that you did the due diligence and you understand and how to protect your investors' money. That's the most important thing. And then you want to give up to 3 examples of deals you did, okay? And if you tell me you don't have any deals, you do, because you have mentors. You're in the REI group right now. I can guarantee you somebody in this REI group, if you brought them a deal and you said, hey, Mark, I have this deal for you. I don't know what to do, but I have the deal. I have some more money. Can you mentor me for free or do a split with me? I don't know what the deal is, but I can almost guarantee somebody in this group is going to be able to mentor you. Okay, now don't ask somebody to mentor you for free if you don't bring any value to them. That's not going to happen. Okay, so I can almost guarantee that's going to happen. So you do have mentors right now. So you have people you do business with. You also don't say you don't know the area, because you do know the area. Otherwise, you wouldn't be investing in that market. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because these are all excuses that people say. I don't know anyone with money. You do know people with money. You're just playing in the dirty waters where everybody else is playing. Okay? You're not going to raise the right money in a REI group, unfortunately. Okay? And I'm going to talk about how you raise money and where you go after. Let me show an example of one of my deals I did. I raised private money for a deal like this. It was a note deal. It was in Chandler, Arizona. Okay? The ARV in this property is $200,000, and this is what I would show my investor. The ARV in this property is $284,000. I bought it for a purchase price of $118,000. I had to do light rehab on this, very light. Clean the carpets. I had to change some flooring and I had to do some paint on it. Okay. The legal and soft costs were $8,200. The rehab was about $7,200. I seller financed this property with $30,000 down for 30 years. My return is unreal because I did a little bit further. I sold a partial on this property, so I recouped all my money in less than 16 months. and now I'm collecting payments on this for the next 20-something years. Okay, I would not have been able to do this with hard money. Okay, I would not have been able to do this with bank money. I would have lost this deal. I would never got it because hard money and bank money, one is too expensive. Hard money should say it's too expensive. It's also 6 months to a year. It wouldn't have worked. This deal takes me, sometimes I could take 1 to 3 years to foreclose on a deal when I don't make any money on it. So that won't work. Here's another one. Let me show you a bigger one I did. An apartment building. I bought an 81 unit out of Cleveland, Ohio. At the time, it was valued at $2.5 to $3.2 million. We bought the tax lien for $600,000. I borrowed $740,000 to pay for the tax lien, pay for legal, pay to clean the building up. The building wound up selling for $3.75 million, okay, in less than 2 years. Once again, would not have been able to do that with hard money. Banks were not going to lend on a deal the way it was because it was a foreclosure. It was occupied. There was tax lien issues on it. There was mechanics liens on it. So that's another deal we did, okay? So you see why private money is so important. And guys, we're in the mid of a pandemic right now. We know what's happening third and fourth quarter of this year. We know people haven't been paying their mortgages. We also know I've been speaking to asset managers at the banks, and they're already telling me get ready for 2021 to 2022. We got a ton of inventory on the books. So you're not going to be able to get that with a hard money loan. You're not going to be able to get that with bank loans. The only way you're going to be able to get it is to raise capital, and that's private money. So the time to start is right now. Okay, a little bit when we send these deals to our investors, we don't just, like I said, we don't just slap crap against the wall and hope it sticks. We actually give them a true breakdown of what a deal looks like, all the numbers, and we'll use programs to show what the numbers look like. We'll break everything down. Our deals will something like that. Okay. We also do our due diligence. We'll use realtors. So we don't just come up with numbers. We'll actually get realtor comps. We'll either pay a realtor for the comps or we'll use a BPO company. Okay. We try to show 3 comps sold in the last 6 months and a half mile less, unless it's in a city. And then, you know, it's block to block. And I'm sure in this group, there's some realtors that work in this group. And I'm sure they do some kind of comps and they work with investors. So it's not hard to find a realtor that will do this for you. But you don't want to just throw numbers against the wall. You want to make sure you protect your investors, people with money, because the most important thing to do is make sure that they're taken care of, not you, them, okay? You also want to show them, do your due diligence on why this is a good market. How long has it sit on the market for sale or rent? Show the average days on market. Show sold to list price, okay? One of the most important things you can do in your bio, okay, is who's on your team. I see this as a big issue with most people. They're scared to put who their contractors are. They have a scarcity mentality. They don't want to say that ABC Contractors is my company because they don't want somebody else to steal them. And that's the worst mentality you can have because you cannot do this business alone. There is no self-made millionaires. We are not self-made. I'm not self-made. If it wasn't for my team, I wouldn't be where I am today. You're not self-made, and I need to know that you have a contractor that I trust, that if I fund your deal, that I know that contractor is going to do the work. They have a good history. I can do background searches on them, and that's why you need to put that there. Realtors, you want to list who your contractors are. You want to list who your realtors are. You want to list who your property managers are, title companies, attorneys, and especially mentors. If you're being mentored by somebody, if you have a coach, put them in here. My students put me down, and I have no problem with that because people can check me out. I'm the easiest person to check out. I've not one bad thing that's ever been written about us in all these years. And we have proof and testimonials over and over and over again. So I tell them, if you're a student, put my name down. They know you're being taught the right way. Okay. And what are you doing? What the most important thing you can do for any investor is overprotect them. Tell them how you're going to protect them. And here are some of the things you're going to want to do to protect them. You're going to want to record the mortgage. And I see this, guys, I see it all the time. And I'm saying it because you're in a REIA group, and sometimes people walk around REIA groups with a little bit of money. You have your Uncle Joe in the REIA group, and he doesn't know how to protect himself, and you try to get over on him. And I'm not saying you're doing it, but I see it happen all the time. To the tune of people are giving money out, mortgages aren't being recorded on the property. So here's the things you want to tell your investor, your lender, that you're going to do for them. Mr. and Mrs. Lender, I'm going to protect your money, and I'll get paid at the end. It's okay. I want to make sure you're protected. God forbid something happens to me. Some of the things I'm going to do for you is I'm going to record the mortgage. I'm also going to give you a promissory note. I'm going to personally guarantee this loan. And why shouldn't you? Why should they put up the money? You're not going to personally guarantee the loan. If you don't have faith in the loan today, I'm also going to give you a confession of judgment, so there's not a lengthy court battle. If I don't pay you and you come after me, you can put a judgment right against me. And if there's a tenant in there, I'm going to sign this. I am going to give you an assignment of rent on front that should I default, you record that assignment of rent. Within 30 days, you send that to the tenant. The court sends it to the tenant starts paying you rent. So I want to make sure you're taken care of. I'm also going to put a homeowner's insurance and title insurance with lender's name as a mortgagee clause. And I asked her at the last one with the deed in lieu foreclosure. I don't teach this because there's only certain markets that you can do this up front. But those markets, you can actually sign a deed in lieu up front. Now, Florida is not one of those markets, so I wouldn't pay attention to that if I were you guys. But Delaware is one of those markets, and I do a lot of business in Delaware. Okay, so then I teach them how they can fund your deals, because most people do not know anything about what's on here right now. Okay, so if you want to write these down as I'm talking, I definitely tell you to go do your due diligence and learn these. Okay, because if you could do this, you can get. There is right now over $13 trillion, trillion dollars sitting on the sidelines in self-directed IRA and 401k money. $1 trillion and sit in cash. Okay, so you have self-directed IRAs that could be tax-free or tax deferred. Okay, you've heard of Roths, I'm sure, Roth IRAs. You have solo 401ks. Those are business owners. They can do their own solo 401ks. If they're not doing it and you teach them how to do it, they're going to be very, very thankful for you, and they're going to want to work with you. Coverdell accounts. Those are very similar to the 529 plans. Those are for kids. Okay, health savings accounts. That is the best vehicle you can use for investing because it's tax-free in, tax-free out. Okay, it's the only one that's like that right now. Cash, private banking, life insurance. This thing is blowing up huge. I wish I did this when I was 20 years old. I knew nothing about it. And I'm actually just starting to learn a lot about it over the last 2 years. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal option for people to become their own bank. Okay, they pay about 4.5%, I think it is. And they can make on their money 8, 10, 12, 14%, whatever it is they can make. They just make the spread. And then they could use equity in their own home. Okay, so here's some ways you can talk to them and you can show them how taking a line of credit on your house at 4 or 5% and turn around lending it to you at 8 to 10%, whatever the rates might be. Just so you know, I raise money at 6 to 8% for 3 to 5 years, no points. Well, let me ask you, if you could raise money at 6 to 8% interest only for 3 to 5 years, how many deals right now can you do? I'm actually open up this chat box. I want to see this. Okay, is anyone here? Put this on in the chat box. I want to see how many deals you can do right now that you're waiting on money for right now. If you could raise money at 6 to 8%. I see 3 in there. Great. Awesome, Chase. So you should be on this right away, 150 plus. Well, then we should talk because maybe I'll raise money to get for you if you're doing 150 plus. Guys, it's so easy. And I'm going to tell you this. I'm sorry to get off track, but I don't want 12 to 15, Chris. Let's do it. I love it. Guys, the reason I'm saying it's so easy, and I don't want to, I'm not saying it to impress you. Please understand that. And please understand where I'm coming from. I'm saying to impress upon you. If you do this the right way, you never, and you could ask the people who run this group more, you never have to ask for money again. You're doing them a favor by letting them invest in your deals because you're giving them a good quality deal. You know, you don't guarantee anything. You know, you're protecting them, and you know they're going to get a better than average return. Okay, so you don't ever ask for money. You're just giving them the opportunity to actually make money in your deal. Okay, we'll talk about how much do you pay back your investors. Okay, I go back through the 3 deals. I give them 2 to 3 deals in a presentation. How much I made and how much my investors made. Okay, but don't ever guarantee anything. You're not allowed to. It's illegal, and you look foolish doing it. You can't guarantee anything. Apple doesn't guarantee anything in their stocks. Banks can't even guarantee anything. It's always the planned or expected return of investments. Okay, I do let them know that anyone in my program earns 8 to 10% over 3 to 5 years, depending on the deal. Okay, and I'm not much of a fix and flipper anymore. Just so you know a little bit about me, guys, I used to flip 30, 40 properties minimum every single year, and I would make no less than 50 to 80,000, mostly 6 figures of my flips. I was making multiple 7 figures a year doing flips. And I changed everything over. That's my story in my book, Passive to Prosperous. If you haven't read my book yet, that's the only thing I'll sell you here. I'm not really selling it to you because you can probably get it for free if you have Amazon Prime. Just listen to my story in my book, listen to my why. It'll tell you why passive income has changed my life. Okay, it's living the lifestyle where flipping was very transactional for me, and that's why I stopped doing it. Almost lost everything, almost lost my wife, my kids, everything, because I was too busy flipping for the wrong reasons. I was a big car buff, bought a lot of cars, boats, watches, and that's the only reason I was really flipping. So now I'm able to live the life I want and have a pretty extensive passive income portfolio of seller finance notes and rental properties. Okay, so how do you find your potential lenders? Okay, and like I said, investor meetings are of the low-hanging fruit, but most of them are not going to want to pay 6 to 8%, not want to receive 6 to 8% of their money hanging out at the local REI group. Find what you're interested in, and I'll talk about a little bit of mine. I'm into boating, wine, cigars, car enthusiast. I'll tell you about my art event story in a second. But some of the things I'm in, I talked about boating. I did join a yacht club and a fishing club with a senior citizen group, and I take veterans out every year, twice a year. I pay for a fishing trip with them, and I do it at the yacht club. So when I'm on the yacht club, we're with veterans, and I talk to the senior citizens that are on boat that come out with us. And obviously, what senior citizens generally have, they have pensions, they have retirement accounts, they have a decent amount of money. And they'll forever ask me, what do you do? And that's where my elevator pitch comes in. Same thing with wine, cigars, car. I tell you, I joined a Mustang club. I'll tell you what, the people at the Mustang club have a ton of money. You would never think of it. So art events. I was at a birthday party for a family, 60th birthday party, Metropolitan Museum of Art. They closed the room up. It was wine, cheese, art event. They had art on the wall, and I'm a half a character, so I'm making fun of the artwork on the wall because I'm just not into art. It's not my thing. And the gentleman walks over to me, starts talking to me, asks me what I know about the art, and I said, I just not really much of anything. And into the conversation started, what do you do? And we had a conversation about what I did. Had about a 40-minute conversation back and forth. Said goodbye, left. Well, my wife's uncle calls my wife 2 days later and says that David wants to meet Dan for coffee. And I'm thinking to myself, why does this guy want to meet me for coffee? Like, I have no idea. My wife's like, just for my uncle, go meet him. Okay, I went and met him. To this day, he's invested with me over $8 million. Not of new money, but back and forth. $8 million. So not at a local real estate investing event where people want to make 15 to 20% of their money. At an event like these, that's where I raise my money. Okay, you could get with title companies, or you can pull public records for cash buyers, lenders, etc. You could skip trace IRA lenders. For instance, if you skip trace my name, it'll come back to different IRA companies, 401k companies, stuff like that. But the address will go to the IRA or 401k company. Take my name, Dan Zitofsky, and skip trace me, and you'll see where you can send me mailers to, where you can get my name. Okay, and that's how you get in touch with me. They have lists. I even help people out with lists. I give potential private lenders that they can, I have my team. Sometimes people hit me up and they say, hey, do you have a list in this county? I'll have my team prepare for them. They just pay them for their time for the list. Friends, family, church. Make sure you have that elevator pitch ready like I talked about earlier. Okay, just on finding potential private lenders, I've done training after training after training on different ways to find these people. I could spend hours on this alone. Okay, what you want to do, this is very important. Okay, what you want to do is you want to send them a professional invitation, similar to a wedding invitation at your event. Okay, so you make a special invitation, not a yellow letter, not a postcard, a wedding style invitation to come to an event of yours. Okay, have it no more than 4 to 8 people. Okay, no more than 8 people at all. You want to keep this kind of closed end, VIP style. Have them reserve their spot. Okay, make sure they call the RSVP. If you have 8 people already, say, sorry, the date's taken. You want to do it next week at the same time? Okay, make sure you have some food and drinks. Small room at a restaurant. You can do conference rooms. You can do a public library. Just make sure it's quiet and you have a screen that you can do a PowerPoint presentation like I'm doing right now. Okay, make sure you bring someone with you to hand out. Have an investor questionnaire. Your questionnaires are like your frequently asked questions. Okay, and I know I'm going fast. I would love to go through the questionnaire, show it to you, but just put together a questionnaire where people, you could answer their questions before they ask them. Give that out to them, make it look nice. Okay, do a 15-minute PowerPoint presentation in your company, like I'm doing here, and then after it's done, network on your presentation. Okay, network afterwards. That's your first meeting. okay? Then you want to follow up with each attendee that came, and you want to, really what you want to do is you want to have a 30 to 45 day relationship, about 3 touches with them, okay? Your first touch is your meeting. Second touch is you want to have a one-on-one meeting with them. Now, that's where you're going to talk about their goals, their money, their risk level, if they want their money monthly, quarterly, annually, okay? You want to get to know them a little bit better. You still don't want to present the deal your first or second time. Now, after that's done, now you have a deal for them after about 30 to 45 days. Now you want to present, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, I understand this is the type of deal you have. You said you have $200,000. I'd love to give you this deal. Boom. Now you present that deal to them, okay? And the biggest thing you have to do is stay consistent, even if people don't show up to your meetings. I used to do one every Tuesday at 12 and Wednesday at 7 every week. Never failed. You want to make sure you do the same thing. You want to stay very consistent with them, okay? And biggest thing, do not guarantee anything. Do not guarantee a return. Do not guarantee their money. The only thing you can guarantee is that you're going to mitigate the risk the best you possibly could with them, okay? And then we show in our event, like we wrote a book. If you wrote a book, make sure you have your book there at the event. Hand it out to them. You know, let them see your book, okay? Let them see you're an authority. A book makes you an authority, even though it doesn't. Okay, you wrote a book. If it goes over well, it makes you a great authority. If it doesn't go over well, you're still an authority. Okay, it took me about 7 years to write my book because I was very adamant about how I wanted it written. I didn't do it for any other reason than I wanted to help as many people as I could help out there with my story. Okay, and I'll tell you, people, if you do this, you'll see people like Ben Fredericks. Ben Fredericks runs Odell Barnes REO. Ben came to me, he couldn't raise any money. He was coming to me and we were doing a 50-50 split on all his deals, okay? And I finally said to Ben after a while, and I said, Ben, I love the money, I have no problem. I mean, I'm enjoying the returns I'm getting from you, but why don't you just raise money? And he said, I didn't know how. And I said, let me train you how to raise private money. I trained him, and you see right here, he raised $2.6 million in 2018. Ben has now raised over north of $10 million. Ben has done a couple thousand deals. He buys deals from the banks like I do. He buys a lot lower end deals from the banks. He'll sell a finance or sell them cash. Ben has even started his own conference. Okay, you have Spencer Shadrick's another one. He went through the training with me. Spencer went through, he's developing in Memphis. But Spencer started as a wholesaler because he didn't know how to raise money. He started raising money and then he started keeping the properties themselves. And now from there, he's buying big tracts of lands and he's building 20 to 40 townhouses at a time in single family houses and then renting those out. So you can see right here, he put together his resume and continues to tweak it. And I actually just spoke to him today and he's crushing it. He's another one. And once again, I'm showing you guys this because I want you to see that people that take action, not that I'm saying anything, people that take action actually raised a lot of money. You have to take action. So no, Matt Fisher out of Texas. He's applying the techniques. Matt's doing high-level, high-end flips and seller financing out in Texas. I'm talking about high-end, $500,000 and up. Jeremy Bowers he's running one of the biggest Keller Williams offices in Philadelphia now. He was with TCS Investments at the time. He's doing hundreds of millions of dollars in closings and was finding deals on how to use hard money lenders, and they were crushing him because they were controlling his business. Learned how to raise private money in less than 30 days, raised 900 grand. That's a testimony from him. Okay, I'm not going to play because we don't have time. So, guys, here's some of my information on how to connect with me. Once again, I'm not selling anything. I will give you something for free right now if you want to take the bottom. I like to write a cheat sheet for people with little steps. So I did a cheat sheet for you guys. So I like to give it out for free whenever I speak at an event. And a lot of times we just hand it out, but being that we're in a situation here, we put it online. If you go to PassiveWealthAcademy.com/42K, you'll get a free cheat sheet for us. We don't sell your name. We don't do anything with it. You download the cheat sheet. I personally wrote it myself. It's not a long cheat sheet. Or you can go grab I'll go back to this slide. You can grab our book on Amazon, Passive to Prosperous. I would love you to read it, and I'd love you to hear your story on how it changed your life. And more importantly, it talks about how to do my business, but the first chapter is so important. It talks about my why. And I know that that's going to help you guys in your why, because whatever you do, it's, what's important to you, what's your vision. And that's what I talk about. And that's why I went stop chasing money and start seeing prosperity through passive wealth. So once again, unfortunately, I can't personally accept any requests on Facebook because I'm at the 5,000 friend limit. So we have our group page, Become a Real Estate Investor with Dan Zitofsky. To get in, just have to answer 3 questions. It's just how you heard of us, what's your biggest concern and issue? And I'll tell you that's an important one in your email address. The reason the biggest concern and issue is because we generally put tons of free content out there, and we do it according to how much feedback we get on what people's biggest concern is. I can tell you this, we've asked over 2,000 people that question, and 92% of the people have said something to do with raising private money. They don't have money for the deals, they don't know how to get it, they don't know where to get it, they never raised private money. So that's why we have a lot of trainings. That's why we really focus back on how to raise $1 million more in 90 days or less. Okay, and once again, real quick story I'll give you with me. Back in 2008 to 9, in that area, I was closing on 8 properties. I fixed them up. I had them sold. I was selling them out. Banks, it was the same thing as happened now. Banks pulled out of funding those deals. I lost all 8 of those deals. I had to keep them until almost 2013. I was negative $4,000 a month. I had to keep them as rentals. So I lost almost $4,000 a month for over 4.5 years, okay? The opportunity, that's over almost $300,000 right there. The opportunity cost alone was probably $2 million for me. I had 3 properties under contract, that had $5,000 down on each property. Back then, you couldn't get away with $10. It was $5,000 down for me. I had hard money lenders behind me. Hard money lenders pulled out. I had no way to get the money. I lost all 3 of those properties. Huge opportunity cost, probably at the time, another $350,000 to $400,000 opportunity cost that I could roll that money for so many years. And I lost my down payment. I swore in 2009 I would never, ever, I remember having this conversation with my wife like this, I would never, ever let hard money lenders or banks control my business again. Never. So this is why it's so important for you guys to learn how to raise private money. And I know I went through this, guys. I teach this in a 2-day course. I teach it on online training, and I try to run through it. And I took my course, and I took highlights of it, and I just put it into this presentation for you guys because I wanted to give as much as I could possibly give on this so you guys can get started right away. Let me see if I can get out of this, and give you back presentation. How do I give you back presentation here? Give me 1 second.
I'm back. Just stop sharing your screen. I don't have anything else to share, so maybe it won't pull up.
Is my screen still on?
Yes, sir.
Can you see me, or you just see my screen?
I can see your screen. All
right,
of
how
it.
do I stop sharing here?
Well, I want to say great job, Dan. And
Thank you so much.
Exactly what it is. Get the money, get in control of your own destiny. When I was 41 years old, I'm going to say it again, I had no money and no credit. And to this day, I still have no credit with any banks. And I've made it from where I started to here, several hundred rental properties, flipped thousands of properties too. And I did that with no banks, but it was because I found a way to find the people that will believe in you when you believe in yourself enough. And that's what he's talking about, a system to get people together to tell them the story. And anybody out there who's in our group, we can get together groups and help you proceed in this type of path to find the money that you're going to need to do deals in the local market. There's lots of money around, especially here in the Sarasota, Manatee area, doctors, lawyers, people that have picked up their coins from their pensions and everything right now. So now's the perfect time to get an action plan together. And one thing he said that I really caught was it's about consistency. The same with when you're pursuing properties or whatever you're pursuing, it's about taking consistent, persistent action in the direction of what you want. He's laid out a plan for everybody to take action to get you the money so you can go in with confidence and find the properties that you know are going to be coming to us here, as there's uncertainty out there, which has created a great opportunity for everybody in the real estate industry right now. The market's still been really strong here locally, but we know that people's emotions have been hit, and there are plenty of people out there that are looking to make some changes. So it's time to dig in, get the money behind you, tune into some of the things that Dan has given you, ways to access some of the information that he has. And anything else, Dan, that you'd like to say before we, we
Yeah,
take a little bit more time, and there's more time for you if you want?
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to give people some of those links, but once again, if you could see me, if they could see me, I talked about the brochure. I do, right? So remember I said the frequently asked questions brochure, that's what my brochure looks like. It's a front and back. I design it, it's pretty professional, right? So when I have my meetings, I literally hand this out to these are at every meetings, right? My book with my brochure. It's very professional, right? That alone is very professional. But in my brochure, I have probably about 20 different questions. And the questions, I'll talk about different questions so they can read these so they don't have to ask questions. So it's like, what happens if I die? What happens? How is my money protected? How much is my minimum? What are my returns? Insurance, next steps, what loan position am I in? What is private lending? So think about what questions a private lender would ask. And you could even ask your audience what they would ask. Put those together and make yourself a nice little brochure. They're not hard to make. I mean, they're not hard to make. I'm not a marketing guy. I pay everyone to make it, right? So I have a marketing team that's behind me. So you either pay it or you make it, or somebody in this group will know how to make them. Pay them a couple bucks, they'll make it for you. I'm also going to leave you guys. I'll put the links I talked a little bit about here. I'll put the links here for the free cheat sheet as well. I'm going to put my YouTube page on there. I do a lot. My YouTube page is not huge. We're starting to finally move videos over there. And if you notice everything I'm putting out there for you guys, there's not one thing here I'm charging for. So please take it. Sometimes it drives me nuts because the stuff that people take for free, they don't find value in it, and drives me nuts. And it's crazy because I could charge you, $20,000 for the same stuff. And I charge a lot to mentor people, and I really don't take on that many people anymore. I take a lot, and people that pay, they play. So, and I'm telling you guys, I'm giving you a ton of stuff here that people pay for right now. So please, please, please take this and use it to take your career. There's nothing more I want than to see you guys hit me up and say, hey, Dan, that worked great. I was able to land my first lender. I was able to get my deal. I didn't have to worry about a hard money lender holding my drawers, or a hard money lender telling me I needed 12-month reserves, or a hard money lender controlling my business. So just take this serious right now, guys, because this is, I don't know if you've been around in 2006, 7, 8, 9, but this is 2009 all over again. And I remember in 2012, I used to hear people say, man, I wish it was 2009 all over again. I would crush it. This is 2009 today, right now. You have the ability right now. There's going to be such a transfer of wealth out there. If you have the ability to have money, you're gonna call your shots. My biggest concern right now is not money. I have more money and we know what to do with right now. It's quality deals in my markets. It's quality people in my markets. It's not money. Money's easy. Every time I pay an investor back, I'm stressed out because they want their money back, and they don't want their money. They want it back in the streets. They want it back in play. Okay. So if there's any questions real quick, I'm happy to.
Hey, everybody, plug in. This was great information here tonight. Remember, coming up, we got next month, we got Randy, and we got some special guests over the next 30 days. REI Live, SRQ. Catherine's going to give you the update on what's coming next week, I'm sure. But plug in. We bring you great information, and just because it's free doesn't mean it's not worth something.
Yes, next week we have a local real estate broker speaking, Troy Funk, about what is actually happening. We actually connected with him a few months ago when all of this started happening, and that's meaning coronavirus and lockdown. So we'll be connecting with him on what's actually happening and what the stats really are going on in Sarasota and Manatee. Jesse, your message did not come to me. So if you want to type it in the comment, you're welcome to. I know that you have one about the guaranteed wealth portion. I'm sorry, guaranteed anything. Let's see here. Question, are you specific about the market locations where you find deals?
Am I with my investor, with my lenders? Yes, I'm very specific on where I find deals. They want to know, I call it the emerging, I only invest in emerging markets. So I do live outside the Philadelphia region, and I still have my New York accent. But I'm in Delaware. I do some investing there. Economically, it doesn't make sense for most investors to be here. It's a little too expensive to make sense. But I invest a lot in the Midwest. I do a lot in Dayton, Ohio, Cleveland, Ohio, Birmingham, Alabama, Huntsville, Alabama, Memphis, Tennessee, Charlotte, North Carolina right now. Those are my big markets right now. I don't I used to do a lot on the West Coast, Arizona, Vegas. I don't do a lot. I try to stay really laser focused in 3 to 5 markets because I have to have teams in those markets. I want to make sure my investors' money is protected. But I like emerging markets. Emerging markets meaning ton of job growth, okay, great infrastructure, good quality schools, low crime, great rent to value ratio, which means that, and I'll explain a little bit, that 1% rent to value ratio. Property is worth $100,000. I want the rent to be about 1,000. Property worth 80,000. I want the rent to be about 800. But I also will not go less than a C area. So I'm in a B to C area mostly because those numbers work for rentals and they work for seller financing to investors. I'm a big seller finance guy to investors. That's my big play. That's the passive. That's how I create a lot of passive income is seller financing. That's why it's passive to prosperous. And it allows me to be the bank, and I don't have to worry about tenants, toilets, and trash. But I have a large portfolio. 2/3 of it is seller finance notes, and 1/3 is owned and rented properties myself. So I hope that helps.
So question just came in. Do you find that investors prefer markets local to them? And if not, how do you bridge?
I believe investors do because they're a little scared to get outside of their own market. As long as the market is good in the area they're in, don't just jump in an area because you want to be an investor and the area is horrible. I mean, if you want to buy rental properties and you're a new investor and you're buying in New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, where it takes forever to evict somebody, you could be destroyed on one deal. So don't be scared because you have to have a team in place no matter where you invest. And I invest more outside my market than I do in my own market because it's a lot better for me in Ohio right now, in Alabama, than it is in Delaware. So don't be scared to get outside your market. Just build a team. You should be able to build a team in place, but you got to know why you're in that market. And it has to make sense to an investor because if you come to me, like I showed you deals just now, I showed you a deal in Arizona and Cleveland, Ohio, and I have to go to the investor and I do what I call an emerging market presentation. I put together a presentation why that market's good. What jobs are there? Okay. What's the average median income? How many people are moving into the area? What infrastructure is going in? Okay. I don't want it one job. I don't want one industry like in Michigan back in the day as automakers. If they jump ship and left town, you have no work. So nobody can make money. Okay. The Silicon Valley was the .com bust. When they left town, it was ghost town out there. So I like places where you have a ton of job growth out there, a ton of companies. Your top 1,000 companies have offices and locations there. That's kind of what I like.
Okay, so we've got, what's the best way for beginner investors to reach out and identify tax lien deals?
Okay, I think of tax lien, you got to understand there's a difference between tax lien and tax deeds. And I don't want to teach tax lien. We can teach that class too, believe me. It can get very risky. I'm going to tell you that's a high risk, and I always warn people with that. But tax lien, understand that when you own a lien, you don't own the property. If people pay you back, there's a redemption period and there's an interest rate that you would make. So you're kind of protected if you buy right. But you want to just check the county that you want to be in and see if it's tax lien or a tax deed state. Tax deed state, if you're foreclosed on the deed and they don't pay you after the redemption period, and every county, there's over 3,000 counties. Every county has different redemption periods, which means after the gavel comes down, they might have 6 months, they might have a year, they might have 90 days, whatever it is, to redeem the owner. After they don't redeem, then you get the deed. That's a tax deed state. Okay, so you have to know what you own, but you can easily just check it out. You can call the county that you're interested in, call the tax assessor's office, and ask them a question, and they'll tell you if it's a lien or deed state, and then you can see what the redemption period is, and you can decide if you want to pick up properties that way. Not a bad idea, but there's a lot of due diligence. Don't just go in and I just want to warn you up front. Don't just go in and just start buying, because if you don't understand liens in there, you don't understand mechanics liens, you don't understand HOA liens, what's a super lien and what's not. There's definitely some homework you need to do. You need to hook up with somebody that does this and learn the right way.
We had a situation with an HOA lien.
Florida's big with that. Florida's big with that.
And somebody thought it was a full tax lien, so that was an interesting one to deal with. Is Dan raising money through what is known as exempt offering?
Yeah, yes and no. They're asking about a private placement memorandum, probably, right?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. We have done 3 syndications. We're working on our 4th now. I don't recommend syndications unless you're going to raise at least $3 to $5 million minimum. It just economically doesn't make sense, and it's a headache, and there's no need for it. You just got to be careful on how you raise money. Some of the things you do, you don't go to Facebook and say, "Hey, I have a deal. Who wants to fund my deal?" Doesn't work. That's illegal. SEC will get you. And if they don't, you look you look like you don't know what you're doing. I'll tell you this: my investors are not sitting on Facebook waiting to fund deals. Okay, your best investors. So you don't want to publicly market for your deals unless you have a proper 506c public offering, and you want to get with an SEC attorney to talk about that. You also want to know what an accredited and a non-accredited investor are. Real quick, what an accredited investor is, and that's who I work with when I do a PPM. Accredited investor is somebody who's single, makes $200,000 a year or more, married, makes $300,000 a year or more, or has a net worth of $1 million, excluding their primary residence. Okay, so if you want to publicly market your deals, you need to have the proper 506 filings with an SEC attorney, and you need to make sure they're accredited investors. Now, if you want to deal with unaccredited investors, you can't publicly market your deals. You have to have that 30 to 45 day relationship. You could have up to 35 unaccredited investors in that fund. Then you could do that. And just so you know, to do a fund of about $3 to $5 million will run you anywhere from about $15,000 to $30,000 to set it up. Okay. Now, generally, I don't recommend them for people unless you're doing a fund. Like the reason we raise a lot of money is because we buy note pools. So we might buy a couple $1 million in notes at one time. But if you're doing one investor to one deal, there's no need for a fund. Even if you're doing multiple investors to one deal, you can do it as an LLC. Everybody on this group, I don't know, it's maybe 20 people. 20 of us can form an LLC, and we could all partner on deals together. We could all put $100,000 into the LLC. We all do our own things. We all have our own responsibilities, and we all own 5% of the LLC, right? And we all share in it. We all have equity in the deal. Okay. Then you can form an LLC. You don't need a syndication. But I'm going to say this as well. I'm not an attorney, but I definitely 100% recommend. I have an attorney, and I constantly pay my attorney to check with them anything I do, because I'm not going to get in trouble with the SEC. And you need an attorney. That's part of your team. You know, if you tell people I have an SEC attorney, it's going to look a lot better. So treat this like a business. Don't listen to me. I always tell people trust and verify. Don't even believe everything I tell you. I could be wrong. Check with your attorney, because your attorney is the one who's going to have to defend you in court. So my attorney, I'm led by my attorney on what I do. So I'm going to tell you the same thing. Go to your attorney. If you want to do something, if you want to raise money for one person, for one deal, you have one flip you want to do, one rental, you need $200,000. You could do it with one person, one deal, give them a mortgage, a note, a personal guarantee, confession of judgment, assignment of rent. Or you could do a first and a second mortgage with people, okay? Just to not commingle funds and do it that way unless you do it the right way, okay?
So it looks like we had one more question come in. Just starting out, what is a reasonable minimum dollar amount to require investors to put in?
It depends on your deals. I don't know how much the deals you're doing are. I would want to see at least enough for the deal. Generally, I want to see at least 100,000 minimum, because I'm looking to do bigger deals. But when I was starting out, I was at 50,000. If let's say you have somebody with 25,000 and you have somebody with 100,000, you might do a first mortgage for 100,000 and a second mortgage for 25,000, okay, to get them in the deal. And I'll tell you this: everyone has 50, probably has 300,000-400,000. They're just going to start with 50. So, and that's one of the questions in my brochure, right? One of the questions in my brochure says, what's the minimum amount to get involved? So that's all these questions you guys are asking. You definitely want to write these down, because these are what's going to go in your brochure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Dan. You've shared so much with us. I have one more. What is the one thing that you wish every new investor would do?
Keep the properties instead of selling them.
I love that. It's all about the passive income. Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. My pleasure. It's great being with you guys.